Each and every fall, there are a handful of rookies that get off to very good starts to their NFL careers. 2020 was led by Justin Herbert and Justin Jefferson, and 2021 was led by Micah Parsons and Jamar Chase. 2022 is no different, and while the rookies from this class haven't quite had the success those guys have, there are still some very impressive NFL rookies. And these players are already proving their teams right with the draft pick and the investment they have in them. In today's video, we're going to discuss a couple of rookies that are making a huge impact in the first dozen or so games of their NFL career and how they're off to a good start. And a spoiler, sorry Jets fans, but Sauce Gardner will not be in today's video. Not because he's not good enough, but because I feel like he is too obvious of a selection for today's video. But Jets fans, there may be a player from your team, and without further ado, let's begin. And the first rookie we are going to discuss in today's video is Packers second round pick Christian Watson. For the relative disappointing season the Packers have had as they went from 3-1 to 3-6 and currently sit at 5-8, Watson has been a bright spot and more specifically has been very good in the past month. He is 6'4" and nearly 210 pounds and ran a 4.36 in the pre-draft process. He had a hamstring injury at the beginning of the year that lingered, and we have started to see a glimpse of what a healthy Christian Watson can do. And once he earned future Hall of Fame quarterbacks Aaron Rodgers' trust, he has been very productive, and there is little reason to believe this slows down. He is always a big play threat due to his high-end speed, and if a corner slips even for a second or miscalculates a step against him, he's gone. He has 3 receiving touchdowns of over 30 yards in the last 4 games, including 2 against the Cowboys alone. Unfortunately, it took a little while to consistently get him the football, or at least the targets, but in the past 4 games, he has 15 receptions for 313 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. He also had a 46-yard run for a TD against the division rival Chicago Bears. Watson's coming out party was against the Cowboys as he had his first career 100-yard game. Now, to date, Watson only has 25 catches on the season, and if you look at his stat line, you may not think he has been all that impressive, but what you may not know with this insane run he's been on over the past month, he has entered his name in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Will he win Rookie of the Year is a different topic, and the answer is probably not, but this goes to show how insane of a month he's had. He is currently tied for 6th in the NFL in receiving touchdowns and has more receiving touchdowns than both Tariq Hill and Justin Jefferson. He is the only player with 6 or more receiving touchdowns to have less than 50 targets. Whether it's on jet sweeps or screens or quick slants, really any simple concept, Green Bay needs to keep getting him the football because good things happen when he touches the ball. We always love doing on-pace statistics for players, and he is no exception. And over the past 4 games, if he kept this pace for a 17-game season, he would have 64 receptions for over 1,330 yards. And obviously the touchdowns are heavily skewed, but he would be on pace for 30 receiving touchdowns as well. Aaron Rodgers will be back next year due to the contract, and with a year under his belt, having a young receiver in Watson is going to make life easier for the Packers offense. Over the past 4 games, they have put up 28 or more points in 3 of those games, and CW9 has played a huge part in this. And the Packers had to trade up to get him back in April, but nobody is questioning this decision, and he has already started to pay massive dividends for the Green Bay Packers. We are staying in the NFC North and are heading to the Motor City to discuss Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson started off a bit slow as there were clips of him getting stonewalled by Vikings running back Dalvin Cook, and people felt these sacks were gimmies when they played the Commanders back in Week 2. Meaning, yes, he had a 3-sack game and good for him, but there wasn't anything in particular where he made you jump out of your seat and think, this is the guy for the next decade. However, things have changed for the better in the past few months, and it started during the Cowboys game when Hutch pulled a nasty spin move for a sack on Dak Prescott. Since then, he has been tearing it up, and over the past 8 games has 4 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, a couple of pass deflections, and even pulled down 2 interceptions. The most frustrating part about the first few games of Hutchinson's career was they had him playing with his hand in the dirt, and Aiden was adamant about rushing the passer standing up, and the results show. Detroit's offense has been very fun to watch over the past month, as they've won 5 of their last 6 games, with their only loss coming to the Buffalo Bills. And good for not only the Lions, but the city of Detroit for this stretch, and of course for my guy Motor City Dan Campbell for having some success, as there was a brief time period where people thought he might not see the light at the end of the tunnel. And while all of this has been going on, and what is truly exciting times for all Lions fans, their number 2 overall pick has been balling, and if it wasn't for a downright insane rookie season from Sauce Gardner, Aiden would be in the Rookie of the Year conversation. This is per PFF, but he has the most pressures of any rookie with 39, and has 15 in the past 5 games alone. And 15 in 5 games is 3 per game, so that would translate to 51 pressures in a 17-game season, and that would put him second when comparing to the 2021 draft class's rookie season, behind one player who was pretty good, I would say, in Micah Parsons. Micah had 70 pressures in his rookie season for reference. Now, we're not comparing Aiden to Micah, as that's not going to end well for many players, and Micah is a generational type player, but Hutchinson has a legitimate chance to have 10 sacks as a rookie. And what's even better for Aiden and the Lions is pass rush generally takes a few years for a player to develop at the next level. And think about it, you're facing 26, 27, or in some cases 30-plus-year-old grown men on any given Sunday, and they are one of the 32 best at what they do in the entire world. It's a little different than going up against Indiana or Rutgers in the Big Ten. These are, in some cases, Pro Bowl caliber offensive linemen, and given the guys in the trenches are hit every single play, yes, it is going to take some time to develop, and Aiden is just 22 years old. Hutchinson has been a great draft pick and has been 100% worth it. He bought in with head coach Dan Campbell and GM Brad Holmes and is 100% paying dividends for the Detroit Lions. And Jets fans, you're up, as it's time to talk about Garrett Wilson. And Garrett Wilson has been a very good receiver, not just in the past week or two, although an 8-catch, 162-yard performance against the Minnesota Vikings certainly helps. Barring injury or an absolute collapse over the final few games, he will go over 1,000 yards as a rookie, and this is something the Jets have been looking for a very long time. Not just for a year or two, but since 2008, they have had 2 receivers have 1,000 yards in a season, and ironically, it was both in the same year. Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker each went for over 1,000 back in 2015, and it is refreshing to see a Jets receiver be the full package as a wideout. There really is no deficiency to Wilson's game, as he runs great routes, has good hands, and has good speed. He has all the tools to be a good receiver for a long time. And the craziest part about this is there was a play in the Vikings game where Mike White barely overthrew Wilson, and if they connect on this, we're looking at a 200-plus yard day for him, because this would have been a 70-plus yard touchdown. To further this and how Wilson's season is still not being maximized to what it could be, he had a 4-game stretch where he had 10 combined catches for 100 yards when Zach Wilson came back, and eventually Wilson did start to get him the football, but Zach Wilson's struggles certainly affected Garrett Wilson. In the 3 games since Mike White was announced the starter, Wilson has 19 catches for 335 yards and 2 touchdowns, and for the on-pace crowd, it would be a 108-catch, 1,898-yard, 11-touchdown season. What is in some ways unfortunate for Garrett Wilson is there has been 2 not just good or even great receivers, but legendary rookie seasons to precede him in Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, as they each set the rookie receiving yards record. So a player like Wilson, even for as good of a rookie season as he is having, well, he will naturally go under the radar due to this. But make no mistake, he is the receiver Jets fans have been waiting for a very long time, and he may be a tad underrated now, but he won't be for long. Next up is Tariq Woolen of the Seattle Seahawks, and the first thing I want to note before we even dive into Tariq and how good of a season he is having is this is not limited to just him. Kenneth Walker has been a very good running back and unfortunately sustained an ankle injury recently, but looks to be Seattle's starting running back for the next couple of years. Charles Cross has been a very good left tackle, and Abraham Lucas has been a very good right tackle. This truly was a home run of a draft class for Seattle. But focusing here on Tariq Woolen and how he has not just lived up to expectations, but surpassed any expectations he had entering 2022. For where he was drafted, which was in the 5th round and 153rd overall to be more specific, I can't even begin to describe how insane of a rookie season he's had relative to where he was drafted. The reality is, if Tariq Woolen was a first-round pick, obviously back in April people would have been floored by this, but this has been more than first-round production. As I record this video, he is tied for leading the league in interceptions with 6, along with CJ Gardner-Johnson of the Eagles, and has certainly played his part in restoring the Seattle defense. And like we mentioned with Aiden Hutchinson and with pass rushers, how it generally takes a little longer for them to start to develop and to get better with time in the league, the same can be said with corners and especially Tariq Woolen. Guys, he played college football at UTSA, and going from playing Rice and Louisiana Tech on a week-to-week basis to playing against the GOAT in Tom Brady and intercepting a pass that was not from him but intended for him is an area where Woolen does not get enough credit. And I'm not saying Woolen has been a perfect corner, as he, like everyone else, gets beat from time to time, but he has been worth the draft pick and then some. He will be in Seattle for a long time and for good reason. He's 6'4" and can run like a deer, and he's doing all of this as a rookie. He was viewed as a project pick a year ago, as everyone loves the idea of having a corner with these physical attributes and the idea of what they can do, but nobody saw this type of rookie season coming from him. Now, Seahawks fans, I do think Sauce will be the Rookie of the Year, but I do think in a more normal year, Tariq Woolen would be the Defensive Rookie of the Year, and rightfully so. He is an animal, and without a doubt, himself, Charles Cross, Kenneth Walker, and Abraham Lucas are all already proving the Seahawks right, and this is one hell of a draft class. And that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it would mean the world. And until next time, as always, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.